Up next, please allow me to introduce a distinguished and remarkable speaker, Dr. Umair Mehmood. He is the Director of Strategy at BST Group. He is a futurist and a cognitive neuroscience research scholar. His interests include quantum cognition, neurogenomics, neuroplasticity, quantitative prospecting, behavioral economics, and pro-cognitive defense and strategic foresight. Today, he is going to be here with us to speak about architecturing the future. Everyone, please put your hands together in a massive, massive round of applause, welcoming Dr. Umair here with us on stage.
Hi, everyone. It's been a great day. Sometimes I think I'm at the wrong place. I'm a neuroscientist by academics. We think differently. We have questions. You know, science is driven by the quest. And all my life, being a child, being early schooling days, I spent most of my time outside the class. So that quest continues. That quest brings me here. We are living in the world of data. Data is everywhere. We are surrounded by enormous volumes of data. Many of them are analyzing data. We are data. You know, 3D print or 3D depiction of the genetic code. So it's all about data. Sometimes we need to think, we need to inquire, we need to ask questions. So I'm not an industry expert who is going to tell you about blockchain, about cryptocurrencies. I am here to share with you the quest that I have. The quest that keeps me awake, the quest that brings me questions, those questions I'm going to share with you. I wish we find answers together. So let's talk about what's beyond blockchain. Data, data, data. The first time I heard about blockchain, it was 2015, and I thought it was someone who was blocking a chain. And then I came to know how blockchain works. Amazing. How we have distributed ledger technology, how we organize data, how we analyze data. And then I thought that there should be a concept of data cognitivism that we see now with blockchain working together with AI. So we have runtime consensus protocols, for example, statistical analysis of the data that's everywhere it's available. So data cognitivism was a concept back in 2016 when I presented it, and today we see it a reality. Similarly, I'm going to share with you the questions that I have for you today, for all of us. So there is a classical textbook definition of the blockchain: type of shared database that differs from a typical database in ways it stores information. Blockchain store data in blocks linked together via cryptography. Great. Well, the textbook questions or the textbook definitions, this is the definition that inspires me all time. Let me share it with you.
Daddy, what does fair trade mean?
Well, sweetheart, it means that everyone who helped make the chocolate, from the farmer who harvests the cocoa bean to the factory worker who wraps the bar, got treated well and paid a fair sum.
But how do you know they aren't just saying that?
Well, I mean,
Of course, in the future, we'll never have to doubt the provenance of anything ever again.
Where'd you learn a big word like that, sweetie?
While current banking systems run on private, centralised ledgers, meaning value gets traded slowly, indirectly, and with a high propensity for fraud, distributed ledger technology will change all that.
Distributed ledger technology? What are you talking about?
I'm talking about blockchain.
What on earth's blockchain? And what's going on?
Oh, Daddy, it's like that paper chain I made on the fridge. Except, instead of paper, it's made up of blocks of chronological transactions, time-stamped and added to the chain. And instead of putting it on the fridge, it's distributed to the ledger of everyone in the network, so everyone can see it and no one can change it.
This is revolutionary. This could change the way money moves around the world. There'd be no exchange fees, there'd be barely any financial fraud, and access to finance would be democratized to an almost unprecedented degree. My child's a genius.
It's not my idea, Daddy. And whilst what you said is true, it's pretty myopic just to focus on money.
Okay, don't get ahead of yourself.
Right now, blockchain is revolutionizing all sorts of industries. Checking that chocolate is fair trade is just one issue of provenance, also faced by industries like the tuna industry, worldwide charities, or even intellectual property like music or scripts. Blockchain's also streamlining the processes and self-executing contracts to lower admin costs in areas like insurance, the property market, and the energy industry. And don't even get me started on verification. Timestamp digital passports mean we can dispense with physical thing. Elections will prove every vote is cancelled and verified. And that's all before blockchain really takes off.
What happens then?
I don't know. I'm only 10, Daddy.
What?
Don't forget your chain.
Well, that was the first time I really understood blockchain. I hope many of us who are industry experts, many of us here will find it very inquisitive. So was I. I was also inquisitive. I was asking questions to myself. What is beyond the blockchain? So I came across few technologies. For instance, artificial intelligence, marrying blockchain. What does it create? What sort of opportunities we will have in the future? How do we commercialize those opportunities? So forth and so on. But I kept thinking, what is beyond blockchain? And I still am working on it. I'm thinking. And I'll share with you what I'm thinking. So we can think about it together. We can talk about it. We can initiate debates. We can carry out research. That's pretty much what we are trying to do at BST. So, like it or not, we are entering the quantum realm. Very soon we are going to be looking at quantum computers as reality, as machines. So what's going to happen? It is actually going to challenge the frontiers of high-speed computing. So the future calls for quantum savvy distributed ledger technology, a technology from the future that withstands this paradigm shift. So how data will be transacted in the quantum world? How data is transacted in the quantum world? Is data being transacted in the quantum world? How does that function? How distributed ledger technology can embrace the quantum world? That's one question. Now, I'll take you forward. Interstellar synapses. How does universe store data? Anyone has a clue? The universe does store data. Everyone knows. How? We need to know. Let's ask NASA. Let's ask astrophysics. Now that calls for an interdisciplinary research on the subject. That's precisely what we are trying to do. So the next question, how cosmic transactions are recorded? How does that happen? Now one part of the question is how is data stored, and then how is data transacted? How do we relate it to a distributed ledger technology of the future? So we are talking about something that's absolutely beyond blockchain. Keeping in mind that quantum computer is going to be a reality, it is a reality, but it's going to be commercialized soon, anytime soon. We are worried about one aspect of the quantum computing, and that is security. That's not all. So we need to look at things in multiple directions. We need to have more extended interdisciplinary cooperation, especially in the research. And then we talk about cosmic data. Now these are all questions to me, and I give it to you. Cosmic data. Is there any data stored up there? Yes, we keep receiving signals every now and then. We are gaining more information about the black holes, I guess. Recently, very recently, NASA gave us the picture. We have space missions collecting all that data. Now, how that data is stored up there, how that data is transacted, how that can be retrieved, how can that data can be put into action, how can we commercialize that space, that is something we are talking about beyond blockchain, a distributed ledger technology that is quantum savvy. So, anyone knows baryonic acoustic oscillations? Anyone in the room knows about the BAO? We all know about DAO. All right. Baryonic acoustic oscillations is something someone just very recently got to know and was able to decode the data, the acoustic oscillations. I'll take you to Tesla in order to understand that. And how does it relate to it? Tesla once said that if you want to understand the secrets of the universe, think in terms of vibrations and frequency. So we are transacting data through wave propagation already, we are doing it, telepresence. Now beyond that, in the quantum world, same principles apply, right? No, they don't. And that's where the question is. That's where I want all of us to take home these questions, talk about them, initiate discussions, informed conversations, and collaborative research. I am also sitting on Industry Advisory Committee for the Higher Colleges of Technology, and this is precisely what we are doing. This is precisely what we are doing there. You know, Dubai, a future savvy place, one place on earth where we have museum for the future. So we have all that enabling environment, and in that enabling environment, I'm calling all of you to action. Think beyond blockchain. Second, how does human brain store data? Another question. All I have is questions. How does human brain transact information? We do know there are synapses. We do know there are neurotransmitters, but how do they transact information? Through neurochemicals? There is a neurochemical activity, there is a hemodynamic activity, but there is also an activity in the EMS, in the electromagnetic sphere. How does that work? How does that relate to the quantum computing? How does that relate to baryonic acoustic oscillations? So, computing brains. Can we correlate quantum computing with the neuromorphic computing? Maybe not today. Maybe it's question bit too early. That's what I'm usually blamed for. But yeah, at some point you are able to relate that the neural network could be a replica, an exact replica of the cosmic network. If we understand that, we don't, as for today. But if we understand that, what doors it can open, what information we can decode, how we can transact data. There is lots out in the universe that we still need to know, will be accessible, and so forth and so on. I'm not talking about how to commercialize that cosmic data or the neuromorphic computing. I'll leave it to the industry experts. And then oscillations and synapses. Is there any connection between cosmic and neural networks? I'm just assuming there could be an exact replica, but we need to carry out interdisciplinary research on this very question. And that's what we are trying to do. That's what we are trying to address. And I welcome you all to MeshNet. MeshNet, we believe, calls for total democratization of the distributed ledger. Now, how do we interpret it? There could be variable interpretations. How do we interpret it? I'm going to tell you. So, MeshNet is something where synaptic data transaction will be possible, will just be possible. So, the data is transacted via radionic, photonic, or acoustic oscillations. That's one. So what are we talking about? Wi-Fi could be Li-Fi. So the data is stockpiled in baryons and data center built on the strands of chromosomes. Data centers. What is the amount of data that we can store on the genetic material? We don't know, maybe, or we can have an educated guess. But let's involve ourselves, indulge ourselves into these questions, and let's together, in this spirit of togetherness, try finding the answers. So, what are we talking about? Neocosmic meshnet. A neocosmic meshnet, so galactic net zero DLT, that is, has infinite data wear capacity, energized by 40 millivolts to 80 millivolts membrane potential. I hope you all know membrane potential. Quantum xenodot protection, online and offline applications, so forth and so on. I invite you all to think, this is what I could muster up in like few years. And then we are talking about controlled array amorphously distributed ledger, NeuraBeam, decentralized radionic data portation. Data portation is one thing that, you know, many of industry experts, they find it, and it's usually a challenge, especially when companies are transforming their core businesses, their systems and processes from traditional conventionals to the digital ones. Quantum encryption could be an area. Quantum radio presence, it's not hologram, it's radio presence, could be precognitive anomaly detection algorithms. So we can actually, in the quantum realm, predict an anomaly before it happens. So imagine we could save billions if we get hold of this. And then this is what we are trying to do at Hexabrain. BST is at the forefront of research. We invite you all to join us and participate and see what is beyond the blockchain.